Hello and welcome to Dave T. In today's video, we're going to learn how to play Minesweeper, this game from many people's childhood which for some adults might still be a mystery. Is actually very simple. It's all about understanding its basic concept, understanding what these numbers are for, and I'm going to show you how to win it, although sometimes you'll have to rely on luck. As I said, this game is very simple. You just need to first try to open a position like we just did, and it clears all the squares that don't have bombs. But it leaves us with a limit because among those squares, there are bombs we need to find. We figured them out thanks to the numbers I'm pointing to. For example, this one. You need to remember that each square has 8 surrounding squares, like this in this case. And this one tells us that among all the surrounding squares, there's one bomb. But since at the moment there's only one square around, we already know where the bomb is. When we right click here, we are making sure that if we click, the bomb won't explode. And the number went down from 10 to 9 because there are only 9 bombs left to find. Also, as you can see, this one tells us there's a bomb nearby, but there are 2 squares. Since we've already found the bomb, we know there's no bomb here, so we can click freely. Likewise, this one tells us that here and here, there can't be any bombs, because the only one nearby has already been found. We can also double click the number and it opens the squares that don't have bombs, since we've already found this one. You need to right click on the bomb so that the game knows you have found it. Now, this one says that there are 2 bombs nearby, and it only has 2 squares around, which are this one and this one. We've already found one. The other one must be here. And this one has 3 squares around it, but we already found the 2 its number tells us. So we double click and it reveals the one that's left. We've already found the one around this, double click and it reveals. And now we've found the one around this, double click and it reveals. You see? Now there's one here, so we mark it, and this one can't be a bomb, so we can open it freely. This one has to be a bomb because of this one, and we can double click this one. Now, there are 2 here, and since we've already found them, we can double click this one and it opens these 2. We've already found this one next to this one, we can double click and we need to keep finding. So this one tells us there's a bomb here, there are bombs here because of this one, and bombs here. So we're going to double click on the nearby numbers to keep opening the spots where there aren't any bombs. There's a bomb here, let's right click, let's double click here, and there are 3 bombs around this square, and there are only 3 squares, so this is also a bomb. We've already found all 3, so let's double click this number, and finally, let's double click this one to finish the game. Let's play again, but this is too easy, let's switch to intermediate. So Minesweeper isn't a perfect game, and sometimes you have to rely on luck to win, okay? So I don't know if that'll happen in this game, but let's check. Let's find the bombs. There's a bomb here, 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 there's a bomb here. Almost always in the corners with a 1, there's a bomb. Actually, not almost always. Every time we have this situation, there's going to be a bomb. Let's double click on these to uncover them. On this one, on this one, on this one. I prefer double clicking because it ensures you don't accidentally click in the wrong spot and lose the game. There are 2 bombs here and only 2 squares around, so there's a bomb here. Let's see, there are only 2 squares around here. There are 2 squares here, and we are done with this top section. There are 2 here and 3 here. These 3 have bombs. Here we can double click. There are only 3 squares here. The 2 are already found, the 1 is already found, and that's how we keep finding them. There are 3 here and 2 here. Well, the top part is done. Let's see what's happening below. There are 2 next to these 2, so we can mark them. And there are 3 here. We've already found the 3 here, and we've already found the 2. And we've opened another new part. There's a bomb here, and there are only 2 squares. So there's also a bomb here. We still have 19 bombs to find. There's another bomb here because of these 2. There's another bomb in the corner. There's another bomb here, and we've already found where the 1 is here. There are 4 bombs here, but only 4 squares around. That was easy. And here, there are 3 bombs that we have already found. There are 2 bombs here, but 3 squares around. We don't know where they are. But this 4 tells us these are bombs because there are only 4 squares around. Likewise, this 3 only has 3 squares around, so this must also be a bomb. We've already found the bomb for these 2, there's a bump here, and we've already found these two, we've already found these two, we've already found these three, and we have already done the left side. Now, we are moving on to the last section. We've already found this one, there's a bump here, and we've already found this part. Let's see, there's a bump here, and I don't see any others we can mark the same way we've been doing. So in intermediate mode, this happens, where you have to start deducing. For example, the missing bump to complete these two is in one of these two squares. Also, this one tells us that there has to be a bump in one of these three squares. Now, since the bump needed to complete the two must be in one of the two squares on the right, once we find it, that bump will be the one that completes the number 1. And that means the square on the left has nothing. And by doing this, we've just found the bumps over here, the 3 around. So there's no bump here. And look, 6 bumps around. Well, we've already found 1 bump here, so there's no bump here. And here, the bump for the 2 we were looking for. These 3 are done. This one is done. Here, this 2 tells us there's a bump here, and this one tells us there's a bump in these 3, but it has to be here because if the bump were here, there would also need to be a bump here to complete these 2, and this one would no longer be a 1, but a 2. So there can't be a bump here. We can click it safely. This one tells us that the bump was here, and now we've completed this part. These 3 can now be deduced, these 3 can now be deduced, and this one is done. This 2 is done, and there's a bump here, and there's a bump here because of these 3. And since there's a bump for these 3, that's the bump that completes these 2. So there can't be any bumps here. Now, there are 3 bumps. We mark them, and these 2 are done. Here are the 3 bumps, and the 3 bumps here. Here are the 3 bumps, and the game is over. We didn't have to rely on luck, and I'm glad it turned out that way. We can wrap up the video here. I hope everything was clear. If some parts weren't understood, I hope you can review them. Though this is a very intuitive game, and I don't think it's a problem if some parts weren't clear, because the more you play, the more you understand. I'll leave this video as a tutorial for intermediate level Minesweeper, and I'll make another one for the expert level. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.